So apparently, on average, it takes over 2 years for Hollywood to make a film, which makes sense, because there's loads that needs to be done. You need to film it, light it, edit it, sound design, special effects, all that stuff needs to happen before an audience even gets to see it. So with all that hard work that goes into making a film, naturally I'm going to try and make one in 24 hours. But that sounds really stressful, mate. Why would you do that to yourself? Because like Hollywood, I've also been making a film for over 2 years. But no one has seen my film because it's nowhere near finished and it's sitting on a dusty old hard drive, dying a sad, lonely, pathetic life. So I'm desperate to have a finished film in my hands, and I think the only way to achieve this is to force myself to make one in 24 hours. A short one, of course, but I still need to do all this. And in one day. And then, if I'm successful, finally I'll have a finished film to actually show people. But before we get ahead of ourselves, is it even possible? And if it is possible, will the film actually be any good, considering we banged it out in a day? So it is just coming up to 4:30 in the afternoon. So I'm going to set the timer, and hopefully by 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, we'll have a finished film. Now, as time was going to be so precious, I decided to give myself just 40 minutes to come up with an idea for the film. Now, they say to write about what you know, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you know how a lot of people double, triple check, everything is turned off or locked before they leave a building? Well, that's me pretty much every day after work, and I end up driving myself absolutely mad, rechecking everything is turned off just in case I leave a light on and it burns down the building. Like, it won't, but that doesn't stop me thinking about it a lot. Checking the windows. I'm checking the heater, and I genuinely think sometimes that if I came back in here after I'd shut everything down, those fuckers would be back on. And there you have it, that is literally the whole film. What if all the lamps, heaters actually did have a mind of their own and kept turning themselves back on? Kind of like The Office meets, I don't know, fucking Toy Story. And it's all gonna happen right here in our office because, well, yeah, we don't have a choice.
Hollywood.
With the script done and printed, well, yeah, sort of, I needed to find actors to be in this film. Now, I didn't mind playing a small part myself, but of all the responsibilities I'll be taking on to make this film happen, I was going to need to find someone else to play the main character. And as time was running out, I only had one person in mind who had the sheer raw talent and capabilities to pull off such a role. My good friend, Thomas.
Do I have a choice?
There's no one else who can be in it.
Okay,
so you have to
I'll
be
do
in
it then.
Okay, you'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
24 hours, we'll make this film happen. Okay, yeah, he was the only person available, and in fact, he was not the perfect person for this role because Thomas absolutely hates acting. But deep down, he knows he needs to help me because of one massive fact. One of the reasons my film is unfinished and has been sat on a hard drive for over 2 years is because he still hasn't recorded the soundtrack for it yet.
Well, yeah, I am doing the soundtrack.
And it takes time.
It does take time. And if this can make me feel slightly less guilty by doing this for you in return, then that's fine. Do you want me to do the soundtrack for this film?
No.
No, why?
I just... Now, with Thomas on board, I had to give him a crash course in taking direction. So when these are off, we're just chatting, it's normal, it's casual. And this is when it's like really serious.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no messing about.
Scream louder.
Ah!
Do it again.
Ah!
Louder.
Ah!
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to start off with the hardest shot first. So once that's in the bag, everything will be plain sailing. And those words right there would definitely be coming back to haunt me. So anyway, the reason this scene was going to be hard wasn't because of any complicated lighting setups. In fact, the majority of this scene was going to be lit purely by the lamps and the heaters that we had. No, this scene was going to be hard because Thomas had to go straight in at the deep end of the acting pool and have a full-on breakdown while grabbing up lamps like some sort of fucking middle-class gorilla stuck in IKEA. That's what I need you, I want pure mania.
Okay.
When we get to this bit. And then we'll just film that for about 20 minutes and see what we've got. You know, you going a bit mad, freaking out. I'll give us 2 takes and then that'll have to be this scene done.
Fine.
Can you do it? 2 takes. And just like that, I put a ton of pressure on a person who doesn't really enjoy acting to instantly give me the perfect performance. Because being frank, we were running out of time and we had filmed fuck all. But it must have worked because Thomas gave the performance of his life. Thing is, in hindsight, this wasn't even the hardest scene we would have to film that evening because things were going to get a lot harder and quite a bit more shit. But until then, let's enjoy me oblivious to this reason, thinking my life is absolutely amazing. When in actual fact, my legs are on fire, and I haven't noticed for some reason. Okay, so we're just going to go film our main car scene. I really want to shoot it during blue hour because it always looks good on camera, but as you can see we are losing light rapidly, so we need to get this scene shot sharpish. That would happen, wouldn't it? Now I'd say we just about managed to get all the shots we needed before the darkness descended on us, and the mood on set was upbeat, and the next few scenes went without any problems whatsoever, apart from the fact this bastard clock from the 1970s refused to land on the number 23. Oh, what the fuck? Did you see that? Oh, mate! Now, of course, everything was all fine and well. That is, until we realised we had made a massive, huge mistake. So yeah, do you remember when I said this? Everything will be plain sailing. This is it, coming back to punch me in the face.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? And we've just realised that my eye line when I look at Michael is completely wrong.
And what does Thomas mean by completely wrong? He means we're both looking off into the same direction, instead of looking at each other. So when these shots are cut together, they just don't look right. And that's because in our rush to get these scenes done, we had accidentally crossed the line, which is an imaginary line you stick to one side of when filming a conversation. Now, a quick fix would have just been to flip it in post, but as we entered the early hours of the morning, my brain was not firing on all cylinders, so instead we flipped the desk so the eye line would be correct, redid the lighting, and then refilmed all of Thomas's parts, which probably set us back about 2 hours. Lovely. This side of you was
Fucking tiring, isn't it?
Everything will be plain sailing.
2:30 in the morning, we're about to do the last shot of the whole film, which weirdly is actually the first shot that you'll see. Please enjoy it.
Please enjoy it.
Please actually watch it as well, that'd be good. Because it's really hard. It's really hard.
And Thomas was right. It had been really very hard. And by the end of it, my brain had began to shut down. The film will be done, and I am also done, physically, mentally, spiritually. And just like that, it was the morning. So after less than 4 hours sleep, I looked outside of the window for some inspiration to get me going. Weather looks shit. And then I decided to make a coffee so strong it tasted like Wolverine and made it in a fucking cement mixer.
Too strong.
Just under 7 hours. So to film a couple more shots, and then I need to just start editing. So yeah, last night I completely forgot we still had to film the whole ending of the film. But I was not rattled, nor was I worried, because this scene was starring Kat, and she absolutely loves acting. So we were able to blitz through the scene in about half an hour. He did the acting, and he did it well. Which was great, because realistically I needed all the time I could get, so I could finally spark out this edit and put this film to bed. And I got off to a solid start. But as we got closer to the deadline, something just felt wrong.
Do you know what that means?
That means we're fucked. It was my brain. I think due to the lack of sleep and the mental exhaustion of all the late night filming, I was finding it harder and harder to problem solve and make decisions quickly in the edit. You know, or maybe it was the fact that there was just too much to do, editing, grading, sound effects, music, all of that. But I was determined to go out fighting. Everything will be plain sailing. Two,
1. Did we make a movie? No, we did not make a movie.
The pain and disappointment hit really hard. After all that effort, I just couldn't get the film edited and finished in time. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but maybe, it was built in a day and a half, because that's how long it ended up taking me to finish this film. A film that, without this challenge, would never have existed. So even though we failed, I'm thankful for the challenge. Plus, it's a vast improvement on 2 years. And everyone who helped on this film came away with something. Thomas realised his acting wasn't shite. In fact, it was slightly above average. And I realised I can't make a film in 24 hours. But I can make a pretty decent one in a day and a half. And it's a film that I'm very proud of. So obviously, I would massively appreciate if you guys could take the time to watch it. Are you going to click on it? Are you going to watch it? Well, if you can still see me, then you haven't clicked on it. I don't want to guilt you into watching it, obviously, you spend your time however you wish, but are you going to click on it?